Thank you to Hostinger for sponsoring this video. Hostinger has just released a full stack app builder that I think competes really well with any other app builder on the market, plus some powerful features that actually separate it from things that I've seen before. In this video, we are going to build a full stack app. This is a client dashboard app with a client login and an integrated backend database with really polished design on the entire thing. I'm going to show you how to do it from start to finish so you can take your idea to a published app in one click. Let's dive in. So we're going to start here in Horizons, and I'm going to send off a prompt, which is that I'd like to create a creative agency website with a client login for them to track their progress. So we are going to go beyond just a website, and I'm going to show you how we can connect to a backend through Hostinger Horizons so that we can have a full stack app. So the AI is going to have a conversation with us first before it actually starts building everything out. So it's asking us for the name of the creative agency, the services, and what things should be inside the client portal. So I'm going to call it the No-Code MBA agency, an AI workflow development for venture-backed startups, and it's to track project status, deliverables, and file downloads. So now it creates a plan, a full 5-step plan of what it's going to do. And now it's going to actually start building this for us. And this is where things get really cool, because on the right side, you're going to be able to see the code actually being written in live time. So on the right side, you can see that. And then on the left side is where we're going to have our chat, so we can continuously ask for updates to improve what we are looking at. Okay, so the first version of our app is now created. I'm really impressed with the initial landing page. It did this completely on its own. It came up with all the style, the design. It was just based on that prompt that I shared. So let's check out the design, and then I'm going to go into some more advanced features that you're definitely going to want to check out. So we're going to scroll down. We can see it has a capabilities section, impact section, and a section at the bottom for a call to action to actually schedule a consultation. If I click that, it goes to an actual contact page with all of this built out really nicely. And it came up with its own kind of fake email and phone and office, but obviously we can change that really easily. I'm going to show you actually a really easy way to change that right now. So if we go into the edit content button, we can actually go and manually change all of this. So I can put in my email, seth@nocode.mba, hit save. And this is what I think is one area that really sets Hostinger Horizons apart from other app builders, is just how easy it is, especially if you're thinking about getting into Claude Code, for example. That is a really powerful app builder, but doesn't have some of these user-friendly abilities in the actual editor to make changes. So I'm going to do that. All I have to do is then go back to preview. And now this is saved. And then when we publish our app, which I'm going to show you how to do later on in the video, this will be correct. And we can obviously change everything in the app, especially in terms of just text, really easily through the edit content button. You also can go into the code if you're interested in that. And then the data tab is where things get really interesting. This is what connects to our backend. So I talked about how we were going to create a full stack app. So there's actually a backend. It's not just a static website. So here we can see it built out all of these databases. This is something that, again, if you're using something like Claude Code that's more advanced, you are going to have to set this up on your own, set up something like Supabase, which is definitely possible, but it just takes a lot of work and effort and more technical knowledge to know how to do. So if you're non-technical, this is a great tool because it has the data tab in the database and the user authentication all built in. And we can see it put in some dummy data, some kind of fake clients for us to have in our database to check things out. And we can see our users table, contact submissions as they come in, and then deliverables, files, and projects. And those were the fields that we asked the AI to create, and then we can ask it to create more as well later on. So now I can sign in under one of the demo accounts that Horizons created for us, and we can see this is the back end of the app. So again, it built all of this on its own in that one prompt. And from here, we can see this would be like the client portal that we created. We'll be able to see the active projects. We could view the details, see the deliverables, and see any files as well. So this is all built inside this MVP that Hostinger created. So the full backend and the front end as well. So if I log out, we're back at just the main website that we started with. So now we're going to keep working with this. So I'm going to send a prompt as an admin. How do I manage what's in the client dashboards? So it's saying that as an admin, I can go into the data tab and manage the data directly from here. Now, that's definitely true, but then it's asking, would I like it to add an admin dashboard so you can manage everything from within the website itself? So I'm going to say, yes, an admin dashboard would be great. Now, before I send this off, I want to make one more note for you to be aware of. There's two tabs here, test data and live data. I really like that they have these two tabs because some app builders only have one, but it's really important to have this test and live database. So on the test database, we can add data, we can play around, we can see it here in the preview, and we can make changes. And then once we publish the app, we're going to have a live database, which is all of the same fields, but the content is totally separate from the test database, which is really nice because if we're making changes and testing things out, we can do that in the test database without making any changes to the live data. So just something that you should be aware of here. So I'm going to send off that prompt and let's have Hostinger actually add that admin dashboard. Okay, so now it's created and I can test it out by going to the /admin/login page. So I'll do that here. I opened up the preview in a new tab and it gave me a dummy login or a test login to actually test out the dashboard. And it looks really nice. I like whatever design prompting they're doing in the backend to make this look nice. And I can see we have dashboards, clients, projects, deliverables, and files. Okay, so it looks like one error is it's failing to fetch clients. So why don't we solve that in a second? But before that, we can see here under deliverables, that is showing up correctly. So why don't we let it know we're getting an error, failed to fetch client. Okay, cool. So after just a little bit of back and forth with the agent, we now have our clients showing up correctly here in the admin portal. And this is where things get really powerful. So I can also click add client. And this is where just as the agency manager, I could manage my entire agency, all the clients, all the projects, all the deliverables for them to see here inside this website. So let's say I have a new client. That client is a tech company and Steve Jobs is the contact person. And email, I could have that as their login ID and a password so that they can log in. So I can create their email and password. So let's say it's test@email.com and test as the password. To do a longer password, and I can create that client. So now we created a new client, a tech company, and then we could give them their login so that they can access their own setup. And then here under projects, we could create new projects, add projects, select it to a client. Under deliverables, same thing, manage all of the deliverables, add a deliverable, connect it to a project. Once you have projects, it'll show up here under deliverables, so we can drop down and connect everything. And Hostinger Horizons has set all of these database connections and references. It set it up all for us. So that's really cool that it did that. And then under files, here we can upload a file. And then again, we'd be able to select that to a project. So all of this would be available to the client when they log in themselves. But here you can see we're here as the system administrator, as the manager of everything. The next thing I'm going to show you is this Ask Cody feature on the top. So the left side is where we can ask our AI agent to actually build our app. But up here with Cody, I can ask it questions. And something you can do is also personalize it so you can tell it your goals. Let's just ask it a question. Do you have any design feedback we should incorporate into the app? And this is where we can kind of chat with an AI to get feedback, to brainstorm without actually using our AI credits on the left side chat where it's meant for building our app. So it says, yes, based on our app flow. So it understands the code, which is also really cool. Here's some ideas we could do. So clear navigation roles, client list UX, dashboard hierarchy, consistency, and accessibility. If we share a screenshot, it can give even more concrete layout design. So I like this feedback on consistency and accessibility, standard spacing, typography, scale, etc. So I'm going to copy that. And now we're going to go back to the AI and say, please implement this suggestion. And I'll paste that in. And now we'll let the AI work on this and improve the consistency and accessibility throughout the entire website. Okay, so here's the new design. I think it looks really nice. So it looks like it did more than just the admin dashboard. I think it made some updates as well to the entire site. Really nice. And now let's check out the admin dashboard. This looks really nice. Definitely a big improvement from what it was before. It looks a lot more modern now. I really like the colors, the hover effects. It looks really good, like really professional. And this took me like 10 minutes to get to this point. It's really, really impressive. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to actually publish the app. So it's as simple as clicking publish on the top right. It is currently publishing. And once it's published, there's a couple things that are going to happen. So now that the site is published, anyone on the internet can access it. So it gives us this automatically generated domain. I can click on it. So this is a public domain. Anyone on the internet can access it through the domain that you're able to see here. But then we also can connect a domain, and actually through Hostinger Horizons, we can connect a domain to the site. And they make it really easy to either connect a domain that you already own or buy a new domain and then connect it to your site here. So that makes it really easy and is a nice feature to have. You should also know that once we have this published version of our app ready, any changes you make here, so let's say we edit content, and let's say we need to update this to say, instead of we architect and deploy, let's just say we architect and click save. So if we want to make a change here, now if I go back to our live domain, it still says we architect and deploy. And this is just a simple example to show you how it works. If I click publish, once those changes publish, that will be viewable on the public domain. So that's how you should kind of think about the test version that you're building here in the editor, and then the live version that is live on the actual website that gets published. It just takes a couple minutes to publish any new changes. And that's a similar way to think about the data. So here under data, if we go to the live app and we go to that URL, we're not going to be able to log in with the same logins we have in on the test data. And that's a similar way you should think about the data tab when we mentioned earlier the live version and the test version of the data. I'll show you a couple other things. So under the integrations tab on the top, if we go to analytics, we'll be able to see live analytics over the last 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days. So really nice to just have this basic analytics built in. So you don't have to connect Google Analytics unless you want more advanced analytics. You can also connect to Stripe to start selling subscriptions. So that's an option as well. And you can create an online store to manage products, orders, and payments with a built-in admin panel. So there's some more advanced integrations depending on what you want to build. Something else that's really nice about Hostinger Horizons is that after publishing, your site is by default set up for SEO. So your site should get indexed by Google and people will start to be able to see it when they search on Google. If you want to try out Hostinger Horizons for yourself, click the link in the description, just select a plan, enter the code NOCODE, click apply, and you're automatically going to get a discount on your plan. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more free content like this. The AI world is moving really quickly and we're doing our best to keep you updated on everything that we can. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.